The envelope from Stanford University felt heavy in my hands as I walked through our front door. Inside was my diploma, proof that I'd graduated summa cum laude with a degree in computer science. Despite working 3 jobs to support myself through college, I'd done it. I'd made it. Mom, Dad, I'm home. I called out, excited to share my achievement. The living room was oddly bare. My graduation photos, which had sat on the mantel since high school, were gone. In their place were pictures of my younger brother Michael, his soccer trophies now occupying every available space. In the kitchen, Mom's voice was cold, detached. Not exactly the welcome I'd expected. I found them sitting at the kitchen table, Michael sprawled on his phone while Dad studied some papers. Mom didn't even look up from her coffee. I graduated, I announced, holding up the envelope. Top of my class and dash. That's nice, Emma. Dad cut me off, still not looking up. We need to discuss something important. I slowly lowered the envelope, the excitement dying in my chest. What's wrong? Michael's been accepted to state on a soccer scholarship, Mom said, finally meeting my eyes. He'll need a proper space to study and train. That's great. I smiled, genuinely happy for my brother. But what does that dash? We're converting your room into a home gym, Dad interrupted. He needs somewhere to maintain his fitness. The kitchen suddenly felt very small. My room? But where am I supposed to stay? Michael finally looked up from his phone, smirking. You're not staying, sis. You've got your fancy degree now, right? Time to move out. Move out. I repeated, my voice barely a whisper. But I just got back. I was hoping to save some money while I look for a job dash. Get out. Dad's fist slammed on the table, making me jump. We need your room for your brother. He has a real future ahead of him. And I don't. The words came out before I could stop them. Mom's laugh was harsh. Computer science? Please. Michael has a chance at going pro. That's worth investing in. I stood there, clutching my diploma, as the reality of the situation sank in. They'd already decided. They'd probably been waiting for this moment, counting down the days until they could clear me out like unwanted furniture. Your things are packed, Dad added, sliding a small storage key across the table. Unit 15 at Safe Store. You have until tomorrow to collect them. Tomorrow. My voice cracked. But where am I supposed to go? Not our problem, Michael said, returning to his phone. Maybe one of your nerd friends can take you in. I looked around the kitchen, memories flooding back. The countless nights I'd spent studying here while working part-time to pay for my books. The mornings I'd make everyone breakfast, hoping to earn a scrap of approval. The times I'd helped Michael with his homework, only to have him take all the credit. Fine, I said quietly, picking up the storage key. I'll be gone by morning. Good, Mom nodded, already turning away. Leave your house key on the counter. As I turned to leave, Dad called out one last time. And Emma? Don't come asking for money. We need everything we have for Michael's training. I walked up to my room, no, Michael's gym, one last time. They hadn't even waited for me to get home. All my possessions, my memories, my life, packed away in boxes like they meant nothing. On my bed lay a single cardboard box labeled Keep. Inside were my laptop, a few clothes, and my emergency savings, $2,500 I'd managed to hide away. Not much to start a new life with, but it would have to do. As I picked up the box, something caught my eye. Tucked in the corner was a business card I'd received at a tech conference last month. Marcus Chin, angel investor. Silicon Valley Ventures. He'd been impressed by my final project presentation, had even mentioned potential opportunities. At the time, I'd been too focused on graduating to follow up. Now, standing in my soon-to-be former room, I pulled out my phone and dialed his number. Mr. Chin? This is Emma Walker from the Stanford Showcase. About that startup idea we discussed. I'm ready to talk. 10 years can change everything. I stood in the lobby of Walker Technologies headquarters, a gleaming 50-story tower in downtown San Francisco. My company, my empire, built from nothing but a brilliant idea and an unwavering determination to prove them wrong. Good morning, Ms. Walker. My assistant Sarah greeted me, tablet in hand. The quarterly reports are ready for review, and HR needs your signature on some new hiring paperwork. I nodded, taking the tablet. How many positions are we filling? 15 in total. Mostly maintenance and mailroom staff. She hesitated. There's something else. 2 of the applicants. I think you should see their names. I glanced at the list and froze. There, under mailroom position applications, were 2 familiar names, Robert and Diana Walker. My parents. When did they apply? My voice remained steady, though my heart raced. Yesterday. They seemed desperate. Sarah shifted uncomfortably. Should I reject their applications? I stared at their names, memories flooding back. The night they kicked me out. The months of sleeping on friends' couches. The countless rejections before Marcus Chen took a chance on my startup. No, I said finally. Schedule them for interviews. Today. Are you sure? I can have HR handle it. I'll do it personally. I handed back the tablet. 2 p.m. Don't tell them who they're meeting with. The hours ticked by slowly. I reviewed reports, attended meetings, all while a storm of emotions brewed inside me. At 1:55 p.m. Sarah's voice came through the intercom. Mr. and Mrs. Walker are here for their interview. Send them in. They looked older, worn down. Dad's confident swagger was gone, replaced by stooped shoulders and a threadbare suit. Mom's designer clothes had been replaced by something off the rack from Target. Neither recognized me at first. The Emma they'd thrown out had been a scared graduate in jeans and a hoodie. Now I sat behind a mahogany desk in a corner office, wearing a suit that cost more than their monthly rent. Please sit, I gestured to the chairs facing my desk. They sat, hands clutching their resumes like lifelines. I let the silence stretch, watching them squirm. So, I finally said, tell me why you're interested in working in our mailroom. Dad cleared his throat. We've fallen on hard times. Our son Michael, I interrupted. The soccer star. How did that work out? They exchanged confused looks. Mom spoke hesitantly. He injured his knee in his first year. Never played again. Dropped out of college. Shame, I said coldly. All that investment wasted. How do you know about Dad started, then stopped as recognition finally dawned. Emma. I smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Hello, Dad. Looking for work. Mom burst into tears. Emma, thank God. We've been trying to find you. Really? I cut her off. Because I haven't moved offices in 5 years. Walker Technologies isn't exactly hard to find. Walker Technologies? Dad whispered. This is your company? I leaned back in my chair. The very same. Built it from nothing after you kicked me out. Funny how things work out, isn't it? Baby, we're so sorry. Mom reached for my hand across the desk. I pulled back. Don't. You're here for jobs, remember? Let's keep this professional. Their faces fell as they realized I wasn't going to offer a tearful reunion. No hugs, no forgiveness, just business. Please, Dad's voice cracked. We lost everything. The house, our savings. We need work. I picked up their applications, pretending to review them. Well, you're in luck. We do have openings in the mailroom. Hope flickered in their eyes. They had no idea what was coming next. You start Monday, I said, signing their employment papers. Minimum wage, no benefits for the first 6 months. Standard probation period. They sagged with relief, but I wasn't finished. A few ground rules, I continued, my voice professional and detached. First, you'll be working different shifts. Dad, your morning shift, Mom takes afternoons. Second, you report to Mr. Torres in facilities management. He doesn't know our connection and it's going to stay that way. But Emma Mom started. Ms. Walker, I corrected her. In this building I'm Ms. Walker. Which brings me to the third rule. Our relationship remains strictly professional. No special treatment, no family appeals, no emotional manipulation. Your employees, nothing more. Dad's face reddened. Now wait a minute. No, you wait. I stood up, placing both hands on my desk. 10 years ago you threw me out like garbage. You packed my things without even waiting for me to come home. You chose Michael's potential over my actual achievements. Now you want to play happy family because you need something from me? They fell silent, the truth of my words hanging heavy in the air. One more thing, I added, pulling out 2 more documents. Sign these. What are they? Mom asked, hands trembling as she took the papers. Agreements stating you won't attempt to claim any family connection to me or the company. One hint to anyone about being my parents, and you're both terminated immediately. You can't be serious, Dad protested weakly. Actually, I am. Sign or the positions go to other applicants. They signed. As they stood to leave, Mom tried one last time. Emma. Ms. Walker. Thank you for this opportunity. Don't thank me yet, I replied coldly. You haven't started working. Over the next few months, I watched through security cameras and staff reports as my parents adjusted to their new reality. Dad struggled with heavy mail carts, his pride visibly crumbling each time executives walked past without a glance. Mom sorted packages with shaking hands, flinching whenever someone raised their voice. One day I overheard Dad in the break room talking to another mail clerk. Used to have my own business, he said quietly. Had it all planned out, my son was going to be a soccer star, set us up for life. Instead we lost everything. Funny thing is, my daughter. She tried to tell us she had potential. We didn't listen. 3 months into their employment, Sarah brought me their performance reviews. They're actually doing well, she reported. Mr. Torres says they're reliable, never complain, always on time. I nodded, unsurprised. Nothing motivates like desperation. Then came the day I knew would eventually arrive. A small note slipped under my office door. Dear Emma, we understand now what we threw away. Not just our daughter, but her dreams, her potential, her love. Watching you run this company, seeing the respect you've earned. We were wrong. So terribly wrong. We don't expect forgiveness. We don't deserve it. But thank you for giving us these jobs. Thank you for showing us who you really are, even if we were too blind to see it before. With regret and pride, Mom and Dad. I read the note 3 times before calling Sarah. Schedule a meeting with Mr. Torres, I instructed. It's time to review the mailroom staff's positions. The next day, my parents received notices of promotion, supervisory roles, better pay, full benefits. Not because they were my parents, but because they'd earned it. I kept the note tucked away in my desk drawer. Not as a reminder of their regret, but of my success. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't making others suffer. It's showing them exactly what they lost when they gave up on you. 10 years ago, they kicked me out to make room for a dream that never came true. Now they work in my building's mailroom, sorting packages and delivering mail to offices they'll never occupy. Me. I'm living proof that sometimes being thrown away is just the push you need to soar.